Hey guys, well, I received a comment on my Ansible video, the previous video, from Roy A. He said, "Hi bro, can you please explain the Ansible playbook structure in step by step, as there are a lot of spacing, hyphens in the playbook sentences, hence it become a bit confusing on how to write the playbook. I am not from a coding developer background, hence requesting you to please explain it in a very basic manner. If possible, waiting for the video. Please upload it ASAP. Thanks." And yes, I just realized that I forget to explain about YAML on that video. And sorry, Matt, I actually only have a weekend to create new contents on my channel. So yeah, let's discuss about YAML in the scope of Ansible, of course. As usual, I will try to simplify things to get you on board as easily as possible to Ansible. And for this session, I'm using Ubuntu Desktop. This is Ubuntu Baji 20.04. So, what is YAML? YAML is a lightweight, human-readable data representation language. Basically, when you write YAML, we as a human can read it, supposed to be, and also applications can read it and understand what's inside YAML also. It is primarily designed to make the format easy to read while including complex features. YAML in Ansible used in two parts: the inventory, or we call it host files. Somehow in my Ansible installations, it only allow me to use YAML format. Therefore, in the video, my previous video, I actually delete the original host file and rebuild it, the host file again. The other part is the playbook itself. Now, let's discuss the host file first. Let me open the text editor. Okay. In theory, you need to define all as the main group of host files. So your host file should look something like this one. This is the main group, all. Underneath, you need to specify the host, but yeah, let's just do this. In YAML, don't use tabs, but use spaces. Okay, 1, 2 space, and then host, which means this host is part of member of all. It's like folder structures in file system, but you need to write it using spacebar, not using tabs. And basically, by doing this means that host is part of all. Okay, now what I want to explain here is basically you can list all your hosts here. Again, use spacebar, not use tabs. For example, if I have a mail server, we can write it down here. Mail.example, for example.com. Yep. Oh, don't forget the colon. Like this. Okay. Now, if you have another server, you can edit. For example, in my video, the host is let me take a look. Is basically 192.168.43.186, and also 192.168.43. 195, like this, right? But again, we only have two, let's say for example we have also another host. For example, this is for web 01 and web 02. Web 01 and web 02 is the host name for our web server. It's another actually another different set. Now I want to group this one. Sometimes I'm going to call all. Let's say I'm going to update the DNS file on the servers. Then I just call the all. I just assign the playbook to all to update the DNS server. But sometimes I also I just want to do some configuration in Docker servers. Then I don't want to update all the rest of the servers. I just want to do the configuration on the Docker servers. So how do we do it? How do we do it? Basically, we need to group it again. How? Similar to this one. Okay. We can tell that we have children under all. Children. Meanings that there are another group under all. Now, what's the children? The children, let's say Docker for Docker server. And then we need to define the host. Similar like this. Again, use spacebar, not use tabs. Now, the member of the Docker group is these two servers, right? Now, I want to create another group for the web servers. So, again, we need to make sure that the depth level is the same as the parent before. So, for example, Docker in this is the depth. We need to make sure that the next group is in the same level as the Docker one. So let's say this is web server. Now we also need to specify the host. Something like this. Things to remember is if you do this, which means that the web 01 is part of a command to web server, not part of the host. You see, because this is on the same level, and it will throw error in the Ansible because web 01 is basically host name for the web server. So don't forget to create the depth. Okay, now this is actually good, but for me, usually I don't want to do this one. Even if there is only one server or let's say one server, it doesn't have any group, I always make it group for him. So I'm going to make it something like mail. Then I specify the host and type. Yeah, I will create similar like this, and I delete this one. Okay, so you can understand that this is the main group named all, and on that group there is a smaller group, or we call it children group. Okay, named Docker with the host. This is the host, right? Now we have also web server with the host. This is the host. We can also have web server group with the host. This is the host. Okay, now let's say each of the servers has different configuration. Let's say different user to log in from Ansible. Well, we can specify here. We can type Ansible user Docker Ansible password and also Ansible user and Docker Ansible password. This is basically tell the Ansible if you connect to this host, use the user Docker and the password, right? You can also specify here. Let's say it has different username. You can use web01. Let's say it's the user. Ansible password is some password, right? And then we can, oops, don't use tabs, use spacebar. Ansible user web01, web02, Ansible password some password 02. Yeah, 0. So this is you can create the details of each of the hosts in the inventory of host files. Now, also you can tell if the host for Docker, let's say, have the same user name and password. So every time you building a new server for the Docker servers, if there is an additional new servers that need to be installed Docker, and you make sure that, okay, I will create the same username and the same password as before. So all the Docker servers will have the same username and same password. Then you can actually simplify the what we call it, the script here. Let's simplify this. We can simplify the script, the YAML file on the host level. We put it on the host level like this one. We call it vars. So this vars is basically a variable that will be used on the Docker group. Yeah, because this is inside Docker group. See, this is inside Docker group. So we can create similar like Ansible user Docker and then Ansible password Docker. Right? After that, you can delete this one. So just make sure if new servers comes in. Oh, sorry. Oops. This one should be password. So just make sure when the new servers come in, the username and password will be set as Docker and password. All the Docker servers that comes in, you need to set it the same. So you don't have to specify for each of the hosts. It's pretty simple. Okay, now back to my Ansible video previously. On that video, we don't have web server, so we can delete this one, right? And we don't have mail server, so we can also delete this. And we only have the Docker server, so we can have this simple host file. And basically on the video, I actually make it more simple by deleting this one. Not a good practice, but it works, right? It's more simple and it works. Okay, now let's move on to Playbook. Playbook is a little bit complicated, more complicated than this one. Okay, in Playbook, it's a best practice to include 3 dash in the beginning of the file, like this one. Okay, Ansible uses existing privilege escalation system to execute tasks with root privileges or with other users' permission, because these features actually allows you to become another user, different from the user that log into the machine or the remote user. The become keyword leverage existing privilege escalation tools like sudo, su, do's, runs, and many others. Basically, it's the become keyword is to execute command with sudo, execute each task with sudo. Okay, just remember that. I will explain it in the I will explain it in a moment. Don't worry. And then Playbook is composed of one or more plays. So one Playbook, like one file of YAML, can have more than one place in an ordered list, which means in an ordered list. I will describe to you in a minute. You will understand about this one. Okay, now each play at least have manage nodes to target, or we already create group in host files in our inventory. We can use the group name there. It must have a task, at least a task, and then I suggest you to have handlers. What is handlers? Handlers is basically a task that will run if there are changes on managed node when we run the Playbook. So basically, if server A has not been installed, then it has not been installed what we call it package, then the Ansible tells the server A to install the package. Of course, the server A will install the package. After that, there is a change on the server, right? Now, after the change, handlers will execute, and Ansible will understand there is a change on the server, and Ansible will tell that server to execute the handlers. Okay, if on the server A, the package application already installed, there are no changes on the server, right? Ansible will see no changes on the server, then Ansible will ignore the handlers. That's basically it. Okay, now let's try to write the Playbook. Okay, first the play. the play is in list. So first column with dash is a play. Okay, let's say this install Docker host. In the host files we have Docker group, so we tell Ansible to install to the Docker group host, and then after this you need at least a task, and then after that you need to have handlers. Okay, this is a play, right? One list starting with a dash in first column. This is a task. This is a play. This is a play. We can have more than one play in one playbook. So we can have more than one play. Let's say okay, and then host. Again, the host is the group that we already set up in our inventory, and then tasks, and then handlers. Okay, so in this playbook file we have two play. One is install Docker, play 1, and play 2 is install web server. Okay, so we can delete the second play because we actually just discussed how to install Docker through Ansible, so we can delete this one. Now we need to configure the rest of the play. This is one play. Let's configure it. Okay, now I already explained about become previously. So become is basically when the Ansible log into your Docker server, it will execute the commands or the tasks as sudo. So we need to declare this become true, and then we also need to work on tasks. How to work on tasks? First, you need to understand the manual process of what you actually want to do on the server. For example, I'm going to install Docker, so I need to understand how to install Docker manually without Ansible. Right, so I already create the video how to install Docker on Ubuntu. I already create the document in my website, so you can take a look at this. First step to install Docker is actually add the GPG key for add the GPG key. Actually, on this document I already modify this step, but the common step is to install dependencies first. So that will be the first task for us. Let's create the task. Use spacebar. Okay. Let's put a name on it. Install dependencies. Something like that. And what command are we going to use? apt, because we are using Debian base, or in my case is Ubuntu servers. If you are using CentOS or you are using Red Hat, use yum. Yeah, you can just type it yum, but in Ubuntu we use apt. Okay. Next is the application name need to be installed. So name here is basically the application name. So the dependencies is usually apt transport HTTPS, right? And then state is present, which means the Ansible only check if the application already there or not. There is also another state name latest, which means the Ansible will check if the application already installed. It will check whether the application is the new one, the newest or not. I usually only use present. Okay, after that, do you want to update cache? From me, yes. I usually set yes. Okay, this is done. So the other dependencies is core. So we need to install core. This is still dependencies. Okay, the command that we are going to use is apt. The application name is go state present update cache, yes. Okay, so if you look at the first task and the second task, this is the first task and this is the second task. When you run this playbook, Ansible will run the first task first, and then the second task after this first task is finished. Now, if you take a look at these two, as these two tasks, it's actually doing the same thing. It's just the different on the name. The first name, the first application name is apt transport HTTPS. The second name is core. Basically, the rest is the same. Even the name is actually not affecting the process. It's just notification for us, identification for us that this is installing core, that is installing dependencies. So we can group, actually we can make it simplified by using loop. Okay, let's create another one here. Name install dependencies. Application is going to use is apt. Now, how to use loop? Well, basically simple, just like this one, and type item. This is basically will loop the name, will loop the task until the name, all the application name executed. Okay. Now state present. So this is basically the same. This one is the same. apt name, right? And then after that state, after that update cache. Yes. Now the difference is we need to specify which application name that we are going to loop. So loop first apt transport HTTPS. Put it here. And the second one is core. Put it underneath. Set. So basically, this task will install apt transport HTTPS. After it's done, it's going to install core. This task will loop itself until the items in the loop section executed all. Okay, so basically after this one we can delete this. So we have more simple syntax, right? Now the dependencies is not only these two, there are others like CA certificate, curl, and then GNU PG agent. Software properties. Come on. Now, actually, there is another apt install application again on the next step, but we cannot put it here because the basically the application has not been registered yet on the application repository. So until now, this is okay. And then we move on. We need to install also the, what we call it. We also need to get a GPG key. So if you back to the website, basically you need to get the GPG key. Here too. Okay, so we need to get the GPG key. Name get GPG key. Now the application that will run this one is different. It's apt key. We need to specify the URL. And state present. Done. After this one, we need to add Docker repositories to our application repositories. So we can create name, the application name is apt repository. Sorry, apt repository. Repo. And then we need to define the step. As usual, it's present. Then after all this step, then we can install Docker. Name install Docker. apt, the application that will execute this one is apt, and then name. Okay, again, this is going, we are going to use another loop here. Let me try to explain again about loop. Wait a bit. So basically there are three applications that need to be installed. First is Docker CA. right? Docker CA state latest. I'm going to use latest here, and then update cage. Yes. Okay, done. And then there is other application need to be installed. Name here Docker CA CLI. The next one, containerd.io. So basically, these three tasks is doing similar things. They are installing applications with state latest and update cache. Yes. So why not we group it and put it on the same task. Put it on the same task and then basically loop it. That's right. Name install Docker. Application that will execute it is apt. Name. Again, when we are going to use loop, we use this one. Just use it. Don't think it too hard. Okay. Oh, sorry. 1, 2. Yeah, I almost forget. State latest update cache. Yes. Now loop, right? The name of the application. Docker CA. Docker CA CLI. And the last one is containerd.io. Okay, so we can delete the rest. Voila! Our playbook is more simple than before. Now we need to also have another task. To start the Docker service. So name start service. We need to specify the service. Service. And then name Docker state started enabled. Yes, enabled means do you want the Docker service to be run after rebooting your servers or start automatically on boot? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now handlers. Again, as I told you before, handlers means basically just another task, but it will be executed when one of the tasks above make changes on the targeted host. Okay, for example, this process state latest. So let's say you install, you run the Ansible to 3 servers last month, right? And then there is update for Docker, and you need to implement the changes the new Docker versions on all the servers, you can run the same playbook. And at this stage, Ansible will check if the Docker service, Docker applications in that servers already the latest version or not. If not, it will update. Okay, if yes, it will ignore. Okay, when there is an update, that means on the servers there's a changes. When there is a changes, Ansible will trigger task in handler. Okay, I hope you understand. It's very difficult for me to explain these things in English because not my native language. Anyway, I hope you understand that. And then let's type the handlers. So basically the handlers is to restart the Docker service, just to prevent the Docker from not running on the background after the changes I implement. So let's create this name is restart Docker service. And then we need to tell Ansible which service will be restarted. Name Docker. And then stat restart. That's it. That's the playbook to install Docker. Okay, I hope this will help you on board to greatness of Ansible. Okay, let me know what you think in the comment. Please help me grow this channel however you can. You can donating, you can share the video, you can like, and you can subscribe. I know it's not much, but thank you for watching.